Hello everyone, we are back with another video, and this time it is Boruto Boruto Twin Blue Vortex Chapter 17, Wild Beast Cubs. And we open up with a lovely cover of Yodo and whatever the guy's name, always forget his name. So we open up with Sarada seemingly deep in thought about something, and we see it's flashbacks of Sumire's comments to her earlier about not thinking of Boruto's feelings or her own feelings. And it does seem to be bothering her, and Mitsuki notices it too. So we move on to the next page, and we're having Ryu and Matsuri having a conversation. And it's interesting. I think it's Moegi's ability that she's using. She's able to speak to the trees and find out that Boruto laid that toad there. And, you know, Ryu's asking what trees, and there's apparently trees underneath the desert. That's cool, I guess. But then next page, we also see that Team Konohamaru is watching them high up from a distance, as we already knew. Also, weird shot here. What is with Yodo's ear? Is that a hole in her ear? Is that helping her hear? Or am I just looking at it weird? But on the last panel, you see that they've realised Matsuri is a sensory type, so they'll probably get spotted sooner or later. So this next page, Konohamaru, just like Mitsuki before him, notices that Sarada seems to be distracted. So she's not hiding it very well. But she then promises that she will focus. So we'll see. I hope she's not distracted. Because otherwise, what have you done, Sumire? I mean, you know, you're kind of jeopardizing the mission with your words at the moment. So next page, Yodo asks Konohamaru, that if they get Ryu's form bulb, they'll be able to bring back Shinki, which Konohamaru confirms based on the intel. She seems to be getting worked up, so Araya talks to her and tells her to, you know, calm down and not do anything reckless. So Shinki's well-being is of great importance to her, apparently. So next page, rather than backing down, Yodo argues back, and Araya kind of argues. They have a bit of an argument. Konohamaru tries to get them to stop, but then the next half of the page, apparently they're always like this, and it won't affect the mission, supposedly. Sarada looks a bit uncomfortable. I don't know if it's because the argument made her uncomfortable or that she's concerned about her own focus. We'll see how this mission goes. So Konohamaru just has to make sure they understand the plan. Mitsuki, being Mitsuki, questions whether it'll actually work, but they proceed to approach the two Shinju, and Matsuri immediately senses them. So evidently by this panel, it seems that the plan involves pretending to be completely oblivious to who the Shinju are, as they ask who they are, and well, as we can see, Matsuri immediately locks on to Konohamaru, obviously because he's the target she wants to consume. So we'll see. Obviously, something's going to play out here, and evidently Ryu has fallen for the ploy of not knowing who they are. So they're working out what they want to do as well. So Ryu obviously wants to lean into Matsuri. He calls her elder, obviously, because she was born first. But evidently she's not with herself at the moment because she is blushing. So you just catch her looking at Konohamaru. She says she's not feeling herself and basically asks Ryu to take the lead. Which confuses him, but he does what he can. So we actually get a flashback here of Shikamaru explaining the plan to Konohamaru about needing to get the form bulbs. So I think we already kind of worked this next bit out based on what we'd already been told. But essentially, you get the form bulbs of of the Divine Tree, and you can bring back the person that was used as a base, as explained here, that they can bring back like Moegi and Shinki. With those form bulbs. work exactly as we kind of thought. With Shikamaru here establishing that Matsuri's form bulb will restore Moegi and Ryu's will restore Shinki. And it's also established here, something again we already knew, that if you don't get the form bulbs, the Shinju will keep resurrecting, as we already saw with Hidari, who was obviously resurrected earlier, and they also mentioned down here that Hidari's bulb flew off, so he's probably resurrected by now. We've already seen it, they haven't, so they're just establishing it for Konohamaru and Shikamaru. So Konohamaru, being the smart cookie he is, questions Shikamaru how he got this intel. It was beyond anything they got from Boruto's interrogation, and unfortunately for Konohamaru, it's, according to Shikamaru, beyond his clearance, so he's not going to find out. So Shikamaru says here that he judges the accuracy of any intel and how much he discloses of it. Do you have a problem with that, Konohamaru? And Konohamaru says no, but he doesn't seem sure. And then we also see that he's got a plan for how to go with the mission based on the intel. And we see one of Koji's toads on Shikamaru's shoulder, so it's clear that they're kind of collaborating at the moment. So this next page was very interesting in that Shikamaru says that they're essentially only enemies of the Shinju because their natural desire is to consume, and obviously they're targeting Sarada and Konohamaru, for example, but they're not necessarily evil. It is just their nature. And that he compares them in the next bit to newly born offspring of wild beasts, which is obviously a callback to the title, Wild Beast Cubs, which, funnily enough, Konohamaru says himself on the next page. And as Shikamaru says here, they don't necessarily have evil intent, but they are incredibly powerful, which makes them a threat to humans. So this part gets quite dark in that the plan is to befriend the Shinju, tame them, and then betray them. And as we all know, Naruto would definitely talk no jutsu them, or at least try, and Shikamaru even points that out, saying Naruto would never approve of this plan, but this is the best tactic for taking down these superhuman monsters, and he might well be right. So to kick off the Become Friends plan, Konohamaru introduces Team 7 to the two Shinju and asks for their name, which Ryu returns. Matsuri at this point is now sort of cowering behind Ryu, still blushing. I think we all knew where this was going when we saw her blushing, and of course also being based off of Moegi. So Konohamaru lies here and says they're pursuing Boruto, and since you're pursuing Boruto, we should team up. They're obviously not pursuing Boruto, they're here to hunt down the Shinju. But Matsuri, upon prompting from Ryu, accepts the team up, and they start investigating. Konohamaru obviously points out that the toad they're looking at is used by Boruto and his accomplice, and they need to find out why it's there. So, in this next page, Mitsuki finds one of Boruto's flying Raijin teleportation metal bits, and I'm interested in Ryu's manner of speaking. He's like, oh, for reals, like, very points to his youthfulness, I suppose. And then Konohamaru decides that it might be good if we split up and search for clues, and he sends off Sarada and Mitsuki first. So here Konohamaru directly speaks to Matsuri, asking if she's alright, and the next half of the page, it's Matsuri wondering why she's feeling this way. We know what we worked out ages ago why she feels this way, but being a newly born Shinju, not used to human emotions, especially Moegi's feelings towards Konohamaru, she can't understand it, so she's struggling a lot here. So now the plan continues to go, and Sarada is now talking to Ryu directly to lure him to go with her and Mitsuki to join up with Yodo and Araya. And Konoharu's like, no, it's fine. I'll stay here with Matsuri. It'll be fine. You go. You have fun. So this next page seems quite cruel in that now that they've kind of successfully separated Matsuri and Ryu's talking about how the Konoha ninja are really nice and they're totally not going to stab him in the back. And how Jura has a lot of respect for the Konoha ninja as well. So they seem so nice, even though they're kind of monsters. So I did go into this thinking everyone is locked in. Like, you know, everyone has a lot at stake here in this group. But I wonder if they will get cold feet, because these Shinju just seem so innocent and nice at the moment. But then, and Ryu's like, oh, I was intending to slaughter you, but I'm glad we talked, you guys seem nice. That's a thing to say. But then we go to the next panel, where you can see, it does seem like Yodo is absolutely locked in to save Shinki, though, by the looks of this. And this next page, we get the reveal that I'm sure most of us already kind of worked out a long time ago in this chapter, that Matsuri holds feelings for Konohamaru. Now, that probably means Moegi has feelings for Konohamaru, and they're just kind of getting fed to Matsuri. And even Shikamaru says that while she does have these feelings, Matsuri doesn't understand them, because, you know, she's not human, she doesn't get it. So as Shikamaru points out here, that Matsuri having these feelings might leave her in a flustered state, which we've seen already has, and might give them an edge in battle. And to take full advantage, you have to be heartless. We will see if he does go through with that. And then we get the next part where the worst case scenario is if Matsuri and Ryu show up together, which we've seen they did, and the plan, if that happens, is to split them up, which they've done. So the plan seems to be going very well so far. So Konohamaru is now at the point where he has to get his Riz on, and the two lovebirds lock eyes, and he suggests that she needs a break. They should go sit and have a talk. And sit they do. So Konohamaru and Matsuri have their little conversation. Matsuri's still concerned because she's not acting like herself, but Konohamaru tries to reassure her, saying, oh, maybe it is okay for you to be like this, to get this way. Smooth. So we get a little change of pace. We're now with Ida, and Koji asks her to look at the situation in the sand. Now, obviously, she's still scared of Mamushi because he can kind of see through her, clairvoyance or whatever? Her sight thing. Senraigen, whatever. But Koji assures her that Mamushi shouldn't be there. He should be at the base, so she should be fine. And she looks for him. And we cut back to Boruto and Koji. And, you know, he just relays the plan to Boruto. That, you know, the plan's going well. They've successfully separated the Shinju. And Boruto wants to know what happens next. So, Koji does relay what is meant to happen next. That ideally, and obviously he sees the futures, ideally, Sarada and Mitsuki and their team will defeat Ryu. And they'll reconvene with Konohamaru and defeat Matsuri together. Boruto, not satisfied yet, wants to know percentage-wise what their chances of failure are. And Koji, after a bit of a pause, says, not that high. Boruto isn't happy with the answer and says that he asked for a number. Don't lie to me. And very, very bluntly, Koji says, either way, you're not to go. Koji very bluntly says that if Boruto goes and tries to help, Jura will just like if what's her name? If Himawari left Konoha, Jura will show up, and if that happens, Boruto will die. So he can't go. He ominously puts him as The one thing we can't afford to lose. Now that wording to me suggests that he sees the others as expendable, which I don't think will sit well with Boruto. And as I've seen online, a lot of other people think the same thing. And oh my god, this next bit of Jura in a Konoha bookstore. Like, I know he can see the future, but when he was describing if Jura goes to a bookstore, just treat him like a regular customer, I thought that was just going to be some, like, hypothetical situation. I didn't think it was actually going to be a literal future he's seen where Jura goes to a bookstore in Konoha. So obviously the Konoha Sentry unit does detect Jura, but Shikamaru tells them to not pursue Jura, just to leave him be, and he pays for the books with cash. Where did he get cash? Has he got a job? What's going on? Oh, Jura, you're a delight. We finish this chapter with Amado lighting up, or at least trying to, because Kawaki disrespectfully just takes the cigarette out of his mouth, and before he can even utter his name, slams Amado against the wall and demands that he remove his limiters. Very reminiscent of when Code did it. And that's the end of the chapter. Oh, it always sucks that we only get a chapter once a month. I wish it could be at least bi-weekly. But a lot of stuff happened. You know, we got to see Jura go to a bookstore. We're seeing developments with the Shinju, especially Matsuri and Ryu. Supposedly it'll go well because Koji can see the future. But we're getting ominous sort of signs that someone might be in peril. Perhaps we'll see what happens when a Shinju consumes someone. You know, maybe Matsuri will successfully consume Konohamaru. Will someone die? We will see. Will Boruto try and leap in despite this warning about Jura? And will Kawaki have his limiters removed? Let me know what you think in the comments. Otherwise, you know, join me again for the next one in a month. Bye.